Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the issues that we run into, I've found out in my brief time here in Congress, is getting down to the true facts. And part of getting to true facts in science is that getting away from presenting facts that justify an end, but making your end justified off the facts that are before you. I live 10 miles from one of the largest coal-fired plants in the nation. And, Mr. Chairman, to your point earlier, this plant, you really can't see the smoke when it comes out. But what comes out is white, but it's steam that's used to cool that. But, Dr. Paulson, you brought up something that was concerning to me because I live 10 miles from one of the largest coal-fired plants in the nation. My one-year-old granddaughter lives about 11 miles from it. And you brought up in your statement, you said that outdoor air pollution is linked to respiratory problems in children, including decreased lung function, coughing, wheezing, more frequent respiratory illnesses, and so on. And that is true. A quick check, you're absolutely right. It is linked to air pollution. But Dr. Paulson, can you tell me what is the greatest contributing factor to asthma worldwide, according to the World Health Organization?
I don't know exactly what the World Health Organization has said is the greatest contributing factor. Genetics is certainly an issue. Smoking is clearly an issue. That's another form.
Do you know where air pollution ranks?
No, sir, I don't.
Last.
Okay.
The greatest contributor to asthma, and I was surprised to find out that asthma is one of the top causes of deaths in children worldwide. I was very shocked. The top 7 contributors are all related to poor sanitary conditions in the home, which are linked to poverty. It is greatest in the most impoverished nations in the world. Number 7 is outdoor allergens, which if somebody could do something about pollen in Georgia, I'd really appreciate it. But the only thing you can do is cut down trees, and we've been stopped from doing that as well. Tobacco smoke is number 8. Number 9 is chemical irritants in the workplace, which again goes back to industrialized nations that don't have the regulations that we have in place. Number 10, and last, is air pollution. I live, as I said, 10 miles from the largest coal-fired plant in the nation, but it happens to be the cleanest, one of the cleanest coal-fired plants in the nation. Georgia Power, who runs that plant, has spent twice as much money in cleaning up the emissions from that plant as it cost to build the plant when it was first constructed. But a few years ago, because of this administration's regulations, Georgia Power had to shut down 3 coal-fired plants, which cost 700 jobs. Now, I don't have anything to enter into the record, Mr. Chairman, other than what I've seen with my own eyes. If you've ever gone into an area, especially in our part of Georgia, where a plant has shut down, in a lot of cases it's because they couldn't afford to operate because of the regulatory environment in this nation, you go into those areas where those workers, which are usually factory workers who are skilled in that particular job, have no other job to go to. When you go in those towns, you start seeing these type of issues. You see poor sanitary conditions because they're unemployed or they're underemployed, or they have no job at all. They're doing what they can to scrape by, and we start seeing an increase in poverty. So my question is, are we throwing out the baby with the bathwater because we're focusing on what is the least contributing factor toward a disease which would result in a greater contributing factor as more Americans lose their jobs, as more jobs go overseas? In fact, the president signed an agreement with China that they would promise to start limiting their emissions by 2030 while we're lowering our emissions, pushing more jobs overseas. So my question to the panel is, am I off base? Are we going to lose more jobs in this nation because of the direction we're going, which will result in a problem greater than what we have right now? Mr. Eisenberg, you're in the manufacturing arena, and that's where we've seen the greatest impact.
I mean, look, understand what I'm saying today. In almost every case, we're comfortable with regulation, but we have regulation, and those regulations are working. And it's really about figuring out where that sweet spot is between having a regulation that protects the environment and health and making sure that we can actually do our jobs. In the cases that we've cited today, they've gone a step too far. We're asking them to take a step back towards normalcy.
with that, Mr. Chairman, I see I'm out of time. I would love to continue this on, but I'll yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Louderbill. Appreciate that. The gentleman from Texas, Mr.